arena, and I call the honourable member for Werriwa.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by acknowledging my colleagues who were part of this delegation to Belgium and Norway. It was a pleasure to travel with Senators Helen Polly and Tammy Tyrrell, the member for Capricornia, the Honourable Michelle Laundrie, and the member for Leichhardt, the Honourable Warren Inch. I thank them all for their keen engagement during our time in Europe. It was a privilege to lead the delegation. Australia maintains a biennial commitment to visit the European Parliament in Belgium. On this occasion, we were privileged to attend the 43rd Australian EU Interparliamentary Committee meeting at the European Parliament and to continue to strengthen Australians' connections with the European Union. We also travelled to Norway to strengthen Australia's connections there. Delegations such as this are vital in building on those existing relationships and strengthening our shared commitments to a secure, peaceful and prosperous world. The 43rd Australian EU Interparliamentary Committee meeting was an opportunity for all members to discuss a range of current issues relating to Australia and EU cooperation, including the Free Trade Agreement negotiations, economic relations, climate change and its impact in Europe, Australia and Pacific nations, and opportunities relating to renewable energy and critical minerals. The members discussed critical political and security developments, including the 2024 elections in the European Parliament, the Russian war against the Ukraine, the conflict in the Middle East, and the situation in the Korean Peninsula and across the Taiwanese Strait. The Chair of the Delegation for the Relations with Australia and New Zealand, Mr Sean Kelly, MEP, thanks Australia for its solidarity in supporting and protecting Ukraine. The delegation also had the opportunity to meet with senior representatives of NATO, of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, senior representatives of the Belgian train sector, and we visited the Belgian Parliament. But a particular highlight for the delegation in Belgium was our attendance at the last post ceremony in Ypres. We were privileged to be accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel Carney Elias, Australia's Defence Attaché to Belgium and the Netherlands, to meet with Belgian volunteers who've been holding the last post ceremony at the Menin Gate each day since 1928. This was a moving tribute to fallen soldiers who fought in Belgium and a strong reminder of Australia's close bonds with Belgium today. It was a humbling experience to be asked to read the ode and lay a wreath on behalf of Australia and the delegation. The delegation then travelled on to Norway. During our visit, we were pleased to visit Kongsberg Defence and Aerospace, Norwegian cybersecurity agencies and the National Authority for the Investigation and Prosecution of Economic and Environmental Crimes. We were also privileged to visit the Norwegian Parliament and meet with the Norwegian Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence, as well as the head of the Norwegian Asian Delegation. Particular highlight for the delegation in Norway was our visit to Bastøy Prison. Bastøy Prison is an open, unwalled, low-security prison for adult males sentenced prisoners. It is located on a small island close to the mainland. It is for prisoners who have completed part of their sentences or are nearing the end of longer sentences. The delegation enjoyed a tour of the facility, visited the island's small supermarket, at which inmates could purchase their own food to cook their own meals, using an allowance provided to them. The facilities available to inmates, including a small house where inmates may request visits from family, are impressive and about providing pathways back into society. We received a detailed overview of the prison and Norway's criminal law system more generally from the staff. Norway has one of the lowest recidivism rates in the world and has a restorative justice system that is often referenced as a model for other countries. It was very instructive to see how this system works in action. During our travels in Belgium and Norway, the delegation was ably supported by Australian officials, led by Her Excellency Carolyn Miller, Australian Ambassador to the EU, NATO, Belgium and Luxembourg, and Her Excellency Karen Ayalia, Australian Ambassador to Denmark, Norway and Iceland. I know I speak for the entire delegation when I offer our sincere thanks to the people of Belgium and Norway for their hospitality and to the Australian officials for their excellent supports during a very busy visit. I'd also like to thank Charlotte Fletcher from the Senate, who supported the delegation on our trip, and the International Parliamentary Relations Office, especially Shannon Carpinian and Luke Hennessy, for logistical and informational support. I encourage all members of the House to consider the report, and I commend it to the House.